one that I can talk for longer.
Welcome back, Angela. Welcome back.
Hey.
Okay, so I got this really weird email from my student services advisor, and it said that I was supposed to attend some virtual like proposal seminar.
Mm-hmm.
And she sent it to me like literally maybe a day or two before, and I don't check this email that often, so I didn't see it. I saw it the day of, but like I didn't get a call from her. I missed it, and I still didn't get a call from her. And my dissertation, because it said dissertation like proposal thing, and I'm not supposed to start my dissertation classes for like another 4 classes. I'm not supposed to start until like next year. So I don't know why I was getting that.
They're changing everything over at GCU. It doesn't surprise me. I didn't realize that the doctoral programs are actually pretty darn fresh, new. So they're adding a lot of different things. And so they might be starting you guys earlier with exactly how the dissertation process works. So that doesn't surprise me. I took one of their calls like that, and they didn't record it, which they should have. No, they were recording it. They weren't going to give it to the people who missed it, which I think was that wasn't good. But it's just a general session kind of class. But she freaked me out. This gal, she just finished her PhD. She's been working over at GCU for a while, and she was talking.
Rachel? Is her name Rachel?
I think so.
Yeah.
She's horrible.
Which call was it? I'm sorry, I didn't catch. What are you guys talking about?
She was talking about a proposal, a call to a proposal class or proposal, whatever it was. Seminar that you're supposed to go to.
A seminar or something like that.
Yeah, and I went to the one previous to that, the prospectus seminar.
Oh, that's what it was. I think that's what it was. The
Prospectus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, it was. She made. I got done with hers right before the first meeting with my chair. And I told him, I said, how bad is this going to be? Because she really made it sound like this is a horrible experience. He goes, no. He was like, I will make sure it's not a horrible experience for you. So, yeah, she made me think like, if you get stuck with a chair that you don't like, you're just going to have to tough titties and deal with it. And I'm like, oh my Lord.
It's a scare tactic to scare us straight.
That would scare us out of the program to stay ABD at that point. Oh my God. Jeez. So.
Now this is one thing that's different. Okay, so I have a friend who's, well, granted she's pursuing a PhD, but she goes to North Central and they have comps, and I find that all these other places have comps and we don't.
We don't.
So if, let's say that we don't finish our dissertation, then we don't graduate?
Correct.
It's
That was my question.
You stay ABD.
All but dissertation.
Yeah.
But if you were to do the comps, couldn't you pass without doing your dissertation, or couldn't you have a PhD without doing your dissertation? Or no?
No.
That's what, no. You have to finish that dissertation.
Yeah, you have to have research in order to have a PhD.
I see. Well, I planned on doing it anyway, so that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah. Well, good. You came all this way.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Heck no.
It happens.
I mean, I have another question concerning this point. I hope, we all will not get to that point, but what if, is there any cases that, or where the student failed to complete his dissertation, or is there like a time limit to complete the dissertation?
Yes, there is. It's 6 years.
I thought it was 7.
It may have changed.
Yeah.
Things have been changing. But last I looked, it was 6, but it could have changed. But
maybe it's 6 for a PhD. I'm in the EdD, and maybe it's 7.
But what if the IRB or the AQR or whatever, because I'm still not sure about this process, but what if the IRB didn't approve your research? Do you have to change it at some point, or they're going to kick you out and say, no, your research is not doable, your research is not valid, whatever?
No, you just have to make changes. You have to make adjustments to what either the population. IRB is really about the population that you're going to be studying.
Not the AQR. The AQR.
AQR. Well, they're going to give you chances to redo everything. That's what and if your chair gets you to that point, your chair is supposed to be the one who's supposed to be your advocate, and they're supposed to know the process. They're supposed to be helping you through everything. They're supposed to know who is on the IRB and the AQR so that they can make sure that they get you through. That's their job. And if they don't get you through, they should be fired.
The reason why I'm asking this question, because as I told Raquel and maybe on just previous calls, what I've been told, I mean, there is this kind of inconsistency between instructors. My first instructor, when I did my 10 strategic points, she said, very good. She said, God. And even in my first residency, I got A, which means that it's good, it's doable, and the gap is already there. And they have looked at the articles that I found, where I based my research on. But when I went to the second residency, and that was the disaster, I got shocked when my instructor told me, which is, I mean, later I knew that this instructor is an AQR member. And she told me, hey, come, you got your gap from one article. Actually, I didn't get it from one article, but literally there is an article that calls for future needs to do on this aspect, which I based my research on. But she said, GCU requirements is to have at least 5 articles that where the gap is. Mm-hmm. So, for example, if my chair approves my prospectus or proposal or whatever it is, and then it goes to the AQR, and this specific instructor or somebody like here says, hey, you didn't have 5 articles, which is the minimum requirements of GCU, and then I couldn't find 4 more articles that call for the gap. Do I have to change my whole study? Do I have to change my whole topic? I mean, do I have to start from zero?
No, you just have to find more articles. You either have to find articles that directly say, which is the golden goose egg. You're never going to find it. If you're really, really good, then you could. But you just have to find more articles that direct towards that gap. You're not, me, in talking with mine, keep in mind, I'm IO, so it might be a little bit different, but I don't think so. That you can still find the gap. You can still argue your gap and based on a multiple variations, and you don't have to stay within the same context either. So you don't have to have the same, if you're going to be doing a research assignment on adults with, ESL, you can do it with children with ESL, do the same study, but do it towards adults. And you're going to find the gap, say the gap is that it hasn't been done with adults or adults in this particular part of the world. So you're just going to have to find the research articles that support what it is that you want to do. In my experience, so far, my experience is you don't have to change everything. You just have to find the right literature that leads people towards that argument.
So are they, because I just need to get an idea about the AQR and the IRB, are they that strict just to say, I mean, that kind of people that do not want to be to be just like they don't want the students to like give and take with them, or are they that strict, or they are like flexible and they are friendly and they are listening to what you say, they are listening to your defense, they are listening to your points of views?
And you could probably do that one better than me.
Once again, from my experience, you don't have conversations with the AQR. Everything goes through your chair. So the biggest thing, like others have said, yeah, hopefully your chair up to this point has prepared you. They won't send you to AQR until your document is ready. However, I've seen that, people get to AQR and AQR suspends it because they say, no, this isn't, this isn't ready. So whatever the AQR says, that's what you have to, I don't want to say have to, but you will have to work with your chair to make sure that you make whatever corrections that they tell you to do.
So
I mean, people like that, and I think that, it just goes back to what I said last week, that you just have to make sure that, like in your case, your gap, that you're using that terminology that points out. People shouldn't have to search what your gap is. They should be able to read and say, the gap in the literature states blah, blah, blah. But if you don't use the right terminology and they have to keep reading, well, what is it? Is this his gap? Is this his gap? What's his gap? They're not gonna stop it. So it just,
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So,
it just really
correct me if
depends.
I'm wrong, but the IRB and the AQR, which I don't think I've ever heard about the AQR, but their main goal is to protect the research participants, right?
IRB.
This is the
That's
IR.
IRB.
Okay.
IR is
Okay.
making sure, which is academic quality review, is making sure that you have a doable study
Yes.
based on your gap, based on your research question. It goes back, is everything aligned? You know, based on your design, based on your methodology, do you have a doable study? Have you backed that up with current research? That's what AQR is about. Now, when you get past AQR and go to IRB, which is the Institutional Review Board, that's really the ethical piece to protect, to make sure that everything that you're proposing to do doesn't harm the participants. You know, like when you're collecting the data, you have to make sure that, you know, you're not, their emails aren't floating around. How do you know, plan to destroy the data? So yeah, it's protecting the participant. The AQR is really making sure that you have a doable study. Is this doable?
And you're conducting scientific research.
I like to do it, but you don't have the evidence to show that it's needed.
Yeah.
You have to show that something is needed, and that's what AQR is looking for. So unfortunately, you know, hopefully if you have a good chair, by the time you get there, everything's going to nothing's perfect. I mean, your chair might think, is it good enough? That's me. Is my stuff good enough?
Good enough.
I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm trying to be done.
Yeah, I'm trying to be
done. You know, so that's what you have to, is it good enough? And you have to follow that rubrics, and that's, you know, unfortunately, but I have seen it where people get through their committee, their AQR, their proposal approved through their committee, only for it to get suspended on that first round at AQR for whatever reason. And the one that I seen, it needed to be suspended. Just like Angela said, that person's chair should have been fired because they shouldn't have been into AQR anyway, because she's a friend of mine. She sent it to me, and I'm like, Lord, how did you know?
Hey, thank you.
What are all these grammatical errors? What is your gap? Stuff from 2008. I mean, it was just a mess. So it happens. I'm not saying that to scare you. Just keep in mind that stuff like that happen, but ultimately it all falls back on you, the learner. Not your chair, you know, that it falls on, you know, the quality of the product that you turn in.
Now okay, this is taking it off that topic, but this is taking to a broader issue. So you referred to your friend having articles from 2008. That isn't that far, because I've seen articles from 1992 and things like that, and that is quite a distance away. But let's just say that there hasn't been any money granted to this topic of research in a long time. So there has been no scientific research on this place because that's not where our society is focusing. So what if my study only had things from 2008 to maybe 2011? I couldn't find anything.
You have to, when you get to AQR, and it's on the rubrics too, there's a percentage. I think it changes.
85.
I think it's like 75, 85, or 85. Whatever the percentage is. You have to have current research. It may not, and like Angela was saying, it may not be directly tied to your specific topic. You might have to backdoor it. Mm-hmm. Just to show that that's why your study is needed. But you're going to have to, I'm telling you, if your gap is not current, you're going to get kicked back right away.
Okay, I need to refine that.
Current gap.
Yeah,
I mean,
I need to refine mine. I need to check.
2016, you should be looking at stuff 2014, 15. I wouldn't even be looking at 11, 12, 13 because you're so new into
the thing is, if it's going to take, I'm planning right now, all of my research, I'm planning to do 1 year longer, and God help me if I have to, but if I'm already planning to do 1 year longer, because you never know what's going to happen. If you have to suspend and you have to drag it out for a year, you have to redo all of those articles. I am not going to go there. So I am putting even though you can have 5 years, I'm doing it like 3.5 years right now. I am not going that far. So, but the good news is that you can actually find research on whatever it is. And there's so much research out there. You can find it, that it's not going to be called exactly what it is that you're looking for. it's out there. It's somebody's doing research on it. Somebody already did research on it. They're not calling it the same thing that you are. That's the one frustrating thing about the system that we have of categorization, is that you can't do that. Call the library. You didn't like what the one librarian said, wait to 6 hours later, call another librarian, talk to them, ask for somebody. Just don't ever stop with what it is. You say, I need this information. Somebody's going to find it. Somebody knows what you're looking for. Just don't ever stop. So, and then also, that's another thing that I've been doing too, is when I get into a research area that is like what it is that I'm trying to find the information on, I deep dive into all of their research. I'm pulling articles from there. And what I'm also doing is too, on Google Scholar, they go up and down. So you have the research topic, and you can find all the research that was done based on that research, everybody that cited that, and also who all they cited. So you can go backwards and you can go forwards with every topic. So you're not going to have that problem. Yeah. Really. I mean, not unless it's a dead science, and it shouldn't even be published on.
Mm-hmm. You have to find it.
Yeah.
You just gave some really great tips for people who are looking for their topic, and looking at the ones that people cite, and looking at more of, like, say you find this one author and they're writing on your topic. Well, odds are they probably are writing on that topic somewhere else too, because that's their focus. And so you go looking at their material too. That's a really good a good tip.
And one thing that I wanted to mention is GCU has, in my courses, has been horrific on getting people to integrate theory. Go find what is theory. No one ever explained this is theory.
We talked about that. Remember, Ann? We talked about that. We just talked about that. So what is it, Angela?
Big. You have that's big when you start writing.
If you theory, go on Wikipedia. Seriously, go on Wikipedia, type in theory of psychology, social, whatever branch.
What, Angela? I'm sorry. Even if you find the theory, and again, this is one area that I'm suffering from, you need to link your research questions to that theory.
Yeah. It's not going to be as hard as you think it is, because you're going to find a simple theory.
Unfortunately, it is that hard for me, because, as I told you, it's not only one variable. You have to get all of your variables, all of your research questions. They should be linked to a specific theory.
Go find the earliest theory that is the root theory of what it is that you want to do, and then make it based on that.
Okay. Let me tell you my example. I'm having 3 variables: critical thinking skills, and I do have a theory related to critical thinking skills, ESL education, ESL learners, and I do have a crash and second language acquisition theory, which is linked to that research questions. However, I have another research question that is linked to the highest level of education of the learners. Like, I'm trying to make a correlation between highest level of education of ESL adult learners with their critical thinking skills. So how would I don't think there's a theory that deals with the highest level of education.
Isn't there a learning theory? Bandura? Isn't there a learning theory?
Find one. There is seminal theories. There are root theories that you can apply towards this. You're having too many tiny little theories, minor theories, trying to link all of your things together. That's not what it's about. You have to have just one big, broad, like she said, Bandura. That's huge. Go back to Bandura. Start there. Say, Bandura did this, and this is what, and then base all of your theories based on Bandura. That's what they really want. They don't want the tiny little theories. I just discovered that. They don't tell you that. And
I'm sorry, is it Pandora with P as in Peter, or B as in boy?
Boy.
B as in boy. I think it's Bandura, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Bandura. Learning theory. I mean, I think I've seen it places, but
yeah, or just look up social learning theories.
Yeah.
And start with social learning theories.
Social learning theory. Yeah. I
didn't know, like, honestly, Ayad, I thought about that last week, and I don't know if social learning theory particularly
linked,
or best complements your study.
But start there, and then when you go on Wikipedia and you start saying, what are the social learning theories? Then go find one that makes sense. I mean, that's what I had to do with mine, and just to make it fit. And you're only supposed to ideally 1 theory, no more than 3. She's laughing. Ann, tell me, why are you laughing?
I just, once again, I think it just depends on the, on your chair, or not necessarily chair, your chair and your methodologist. Because I started
even not methodologist, because your chair is the one that has the decision whether your study is doable or not.
Yeah.
Even your methodologist, I don't think so. But
no. When you start, your chair is ultimately, but when you start getting into deeper chapters, especially like chapter 3 and stuff like that, your methodologist plays a big part. But you have to, like she said, you're right. As long as you're able to link that theory or model, is big, and they don't teach that. They don't teach that at all.
It's horrible.
I'm over here Googling theories now and like theory of, yeah, it's actually very informational.
Yeah.
But, once again, it goes back to that reading they talk about. You guys reading all these articles or you read dissertations. What theories or models are they using? I mean, so start there. I mean, that's what I did. I'm looking at stuff.
Ayad, what about humanist theory? According to Google, it says the purpose of thinking is to fulfill an individual's potential.
Okay.
Do you think this is related to my study right now?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not the expert on ESL and critical thinking. I don't know.
I mean, you can do it based on computer learning theory. I mean, which is the brain just putting in bits of data into it and accumulating the information.
I mean, you guys, I need something related to highest level of education. Just that's it.
It's start with that learning theory.
Age. It's not related to age. So we can say that learning and level of education. I mean,
the best thing that I ever did was to go to my content expert and say, help me put this together. And she did.
Oh, okay.
So go to your content expert.
I'm gonna put it down.
Okay. Help.
Yeah, they would if your content expert actually is an expert in your area of field, they'll be able to help you put it all together. So, I mean, that's what mine did. And she was awesome. She spent before she, she's supposed to even step into it. She goes, no, just give it to me. Let's talk about it. And we did. And it was great.
Oh,
I need a content expert right now. I have so many questions already.
You know what? You can also, and that's another thing that you can do too, Ayad, is one of the studies that you particularly really liked that you're basing your study on, go find the authors of that study and go talk to them. And ask them.
I email them because, unfortunately, most of the studies that I'm interested in and I've cited in my study, they were not done in the U.S. They were done in a specific country. And I emailed them. I even called them. They were done in Iran. Yeah. I called them, but none of them has responded. And you know what I'm doing in Google Scholar? I just put an alert. So whenever there's another article, whenever there's a new article on this issue, I will get an email and I will go to Google Scholar. So I've seen so many articles that are now in 2016 and which have been conducted by almost the same author or group of authors. And I'm just emailed them, as I told you last year maybe, and they haven't responded yet.
Okay. Is there anybody else that's using their studies in their study? As they're citing those authors.
Yes, they're citing.
Go after that, go talk to them.
They are citing the seminal theories. I mean, their theoretical foundations are almost the same as the ones that I'm using right now.
Okay, but anybody who's using those studies and they're making more studies out of them, they might be good people to go call and ask those questions. What's a good theory model to go after? Use their theories. Take one of their theories and just steal them. I mean, seriously, you're going to put it in your own language. It's a theory. Anybody can use it. It's not like it's patented.
And Raquel, you cannot ask your content expert right now because I tried to ask the one that called me last week, and she said, "I'm sorry, I'm not authorized to say anything until it's officially approved."
No way. No,
Yeah,
you know what?
that's it.
Just because your content expert said that doesn't mean all of them will. I would keep asking.
I don't know. At least it was that one. Because she said, but maybe because she's from GCU and she's more just maybe she's aware of anything that might happen. But that's what she said. I'm not expected to say anything
Sid,
until.
oh, by the way, that's another thing. I don't know if it was just my program or not. No one ever told me that I had to specifically inform my student advisor of who my content expert was. And all of a sudden she sent me an email. She said, you need a content expert or else we're going to XYZ. I'm what? So make sure that as soon as you get assigned officially your other two, that you get your content expert name in as soon as possible, and then they'll forward the paperwork immediately. So
Yeah, because what that does, once you have your what they consider a full committee, once you're at the dissertation, well, once you get the full committee, they're going to create, well, your advisor, they'll create on the DC network what's called an LDP, a learner's dissertation page. And that's like specifically that's just specifically for you and your committee, where you can send emails, you can upload your documents, that type stuff. But you won't get that if you're missing one part of your committee. So if you don't have a content expert, you're not going to get it. If you don't have, or your methodologist is assigned. But yeah, you have to have all three before you get your LDP.
And does that mean that we can have our content expert before even we start our chair class?
I did because I wanted to be ready on day one. You know what I mean? Once
the one that called me, she said you cannot fill out the paperwork of the content expert until you get your chair assigned. So once I get my assigned, it means that class has already started.
Right. I mean, you might can't officially fill out the paperwork, but I had already identified and the person had agreed. And that's what I mean. The person had already agreed.
Verbally or officially?
Well, with me, verbally. I had it in an email. Yeah, I'll serve as your content expert. So once I got assigned my chair, I just told my advisor, like she said, okay, here's my content expert, and the advisor took care of everything else. But what I'm saying is I didn't wait until I got my chair to start looking for a content expert.
Okay. I've already looked at that. As I told you, I talked to her last week. But when I said, what do I have to do right now? I told her, okay, now you agreed. And I told you about my study. What do I have to do right now? She said, you don't have to do anything. Just wait until you are assigned a chair. And then tell your chair that I've chosen this one and this one agreed. And then they're going to give you the D10 form that you need to fill out.
Oh, also,
your advisor is going to do that, not your chair. But you have to wait. You do have to wait.
Do yourself a favor, Ayad, is talk to your chair and ask them if they know the person that is your content expert and if they get along with them.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But do you think
I made sure that my team, because they're your team, and if somebody doesn't get along with somebody, that doesn't make for good.
Could you imagine at this level?
If they don't get along with that person, they would say it just to me?
Say it again?
Do you think if they don't get along with that person, they would say it to me? They would tell me that, okay, we don't.
You have to be political. You're going to play the political game. Say, hey, listen, have you ever, it's an interview. Have you ever worked with this person before? Do you know this person? I mean, you're not going to ask them, dude, what do you think about it?
I know.
You're not going to ask them that.
Do you guys fight? Do you get along? Have a good working relationship?
Tell me all their dirty baggage. I mean, seriously.
What do you think about this person? What do you think about? That's a silly question.
No. You're going to ask them, hey, have you ever worked with them before? Have you seen them on campus? What do you think about them? What's your opinion?
So now that I have just realized that the name of my chair, can I contact her right now?
Yes, do. Yes, I would.
Before the class starts?
Yeah, I would. I did. As soon as I got that name, I immediately started contacting them. Now, when I also tried to contact my methodologist, but he was like, no, just talk to your chair. I jumped the gun on that one. So they wouldn't talk, and they won't come in until after your proposal is basically kind of done. So they'll take a look at it, but they're not going to do much more than that.
Your prospectus.
Thank you.
Yeah, your methodologist gets involved with your prospectus.
Yeah, so to make sure everything can fly. So
you will not have direct communication with your methodologist? You won't?
I think at the meetings, Anne, what's your experience?
It depends. Well, I don't think it was initially set up that way, but I think because like one of the Zooms that I had was the questions was more geared towards my methodologist. So my chair invited the methodologist to the Zoom. So or my methodologist, she'll send me an email, but everybody's, of course she CCs my chair on it, but normally you don't, but there may be time you're not supposed to go directly to your methodologist. You're always supposed to go through your chair.
Okay.
So that's the thing.
And the same thing applies to your content expert. Does it?
Oh, no, I deal directly with my content expert. No. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the upcoming days is going to be like tough for me.
I think the more worried you are about it, instead of just going through the process, let it happen. I mean, you're trying to be worried about something that hasn't happened yet.
Right.
The whole thing.
But it will happen. It will happen. I mean,
well, of course, because you're predicting it will.
Just trying to be well prepared.
Negative energy. You're
just trying to be well prepared.
Self-fulfilling prophecy.
Have a positive attitude. Just be glad. Hey,
I do, but I have to put considerations to what I will do just in case if my chair is so and so, because from the stories that I've been listening from all of the GCU students in the DC network, when they have these nightmares with their chairs, so I have to be well prepared to what I'm going to do.
Here's a question, Ayad. Are the people who are going to be complaining the loudest the ones that are satisfied or the ones that aren't satisfied?
The one that are satisfied.
If they are satisfied, how would they complain? How would they complain?
The people that are frustrated out of their minds are going to be the ones that say the most and the loudest. So those are the ones that are on the DC. But in all honesty, GCU should be preparing for those people. They should have things in line. They're not. There's a whole bunch of stuff that GCU should be doing totally better. But the sad good news is that we're not the only university that's having these same problems.
Yeah.
So I talked to so many
people that are complaining too. We don't know. We're only hearing one side. We don't know the FN. We don't know, okay, well, they turned this back. Okay, it took you a month to submit it. We're only hearing one side of it too. So I don't know. I take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I read that stuff, but I try not to internalize it too much.
Exactly. I mean,
we still have 7 more minutes.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank you guys. Actually, out of the 3 calls that we've had, this is the one that I benefit from the most because I've got some tips. Thank you so much, Angela. You've provided us, with invaluable remarks about the process. Thank you, Anne. And thank you, Raquel.
Hey, actually next week I won't be able to host the call because I have something with my family planned. So does anybody want to take that over?
I can host it. That's not a problem.
I was going to say I have a Zoom too. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, we'll just put it up. The first one that says it gets it.
Okay. I think.
Go ahead, girl. Yeah, you go ahead because I'm working on my chapter 4. So go ahead.
And you guys should have the mailing list right from getting an email with everybody attached.
I'll look.
Yeah, look, because I thought that just came from Zoom. I don't know if it.
It just says Anne, Ayad, and me. That's it.
Oh, how about the first one? That has everybody on it.
Oh.
The first one for today?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see Chris and Ingrid. Okay, I have everybody.
Okay, great. Great, then I'll pick up the next, I can pick up the next week if you want, or do you mind hosting, well, I don't know, do you mind hosting the next 2 weeks or?
That's fine. I'm good.
Angela, I can do one, you do one. You want to do that?
Beautiful, Anne. I love it.
Okay, so you do next week and I'll do the following week because, yeah, hopefully I'll be waiting on feedback. So
Okay, good.
and then if something comes up, I'll be like, you do that one too, girl.
Hey, I have a question, a way to end the meeting, just real quick. What is a good way that we can think of to support each one of you? What's like your number one thing that you would love to get support on or that you need to drive for next?
That's
I won't be here next week. Let's see the following week.
I think for me, gosh, I don't know, like if you guys can somehow hold me accountable because,
Check it.
no, because I'm so far, I'm working on my chapter 4, and just to, hey, check in. Hey, Ann, how's it going? You said you want to have this submitted by this. How's it going? That type stuff. Just knowing that other people are holding me accountable, that pushes me along too.
Hear that. Okay. And Ann, what's a good way to get a hold of you?
My email, that's fine. I think that's on there. I'm Lady A. The email is LADYA70@gmail.com.
Okay. Nayad, how about you?
My phone number.
Say again?
My phone.
Your phone? What do you want? What's something that we can help support?
I mean, are you asking about the good way to hold me on?
No. What's a good? What do you want to be? What do you want help with? What are you going to mindset yourself for next week?
As I told you, I mean, until now, I'm very worried about how things will go on. But I guess when I get my chair assigned, things will be clear for me. So until that time, let's wait and see.
Okay,
so pray. We're gonna all pray for you.
How about we also look for theories for you? I know theory is a big thing for you. Finding that theory.
Yes, and the theory which is related to highest level of education. That's all what I need right now.
but don't make it so complicated. Really, make it easy. Go back for some basic theories. So.
I will. I'll try to see, and I'll let you know, guys, next week.
Okay. And what about you, Akka?
I think presentation and development of my topic. So the opportunity to present, this is what I have so far, have people ask me questions so I could kind of defend that. And then possibly, give some suggestion from the experience that you guys had, or some maybe, hey, we noticed that this and this doesn't correspond. Like maybe you should check on that. So
do you have anything already, like a draft prospectus? Do you have anything?
Yes. Yeah, I just wrote, I've been writing I have a prospectus and the mini research proposal.
And what class are you in?
Way ahead of what you are supposed to be.
I'm in qualitative analysis.
Your qualitative analysis?
How about you can send me your prospectus or your strategic, something like that.
Absolutely.
I can take a look at it just to see as far as the alignment, if I can see a flow, or if I'd be like, hey, you might want to consider this or do that.
Yeah.
Right. And send it my way too. That way I'll take a look at it and just see what it is that I can.
Yeah.
All right. We have less than a minute. We'll probably get cut off now. So let's return 3 p.m. Pacific time next week.
Yep. And I'll host it. I got it.
Good seeing you guys.
All right.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all. Have a good one.
You too.